All right. On this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, happy to be talking to an individual who's got a big fight coming up. John Howard going to be going on October the 11th in the welterweight ranks and coming off of a big victory as well. I'm talking to David Michaud. How's it going there, man?
Going good. Yeah, just hanging out, training, doing stuff.
And what are your thoughts on your PFL journey up until this point? Because I think I saw ESPN described it as one of the stranger arcs throughout this particular season in PFL because there was the relatively quick fight you had where you were finished in the first round, but then conversely, in your last fight, you get a first round finish and then you end up getting yourself a playoff spot there. So, can you describe your PFL journey up until this point?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a relatively quick fight. It was a quick fight. We could just say it. 17 seconds. That first loss. Yeah, I mean, things change fast in the fight game. That first fight, it was weird. Had a good camp. Felt like everything was good going in. Felt like I was finally in a good place in my career. With a good company, getting a good shot. Like things are gonna turn around, and then boom, go out there, get kicked in the liver, get dropped, and so after that, everyone's kind of down on me. Like, no one was really talking to me. I didn't get any interviews or anything before that second fight, but then after the second fight, I get a first round finish over a guy who was in the semifinals last year, who had a win, had a good record, has some good wins on his belt. He's finished Rick Story and Paul Bradley, so. Yeah, it's weird how things change, but I mean, I never doubted. Nothing ever changed in my mind after that first fight. It was just like 5 minutes after the fight, oh, fuck. Well, stuff happens. Just gotta dust myself off, get back up. Got right back into training, which might have been too soon to get back into training because then I ended up kind of overworking my body going into this second fight, but. Yeah, things change fast here.
Does that galvanize your, I guess, like mental strength going forward, though? Because, like you said, there was a quick finish where you were on the losing end of it, but then you dusted yourself off and got a really impressive rebound performance. Does that pay huge dividends for like your mental game and stuff like that, or do you not really look at it in that kind of way necessarily?
No, I think I've always been pretty mentally strong. Like I'm never gonna go out there and get mentally broke or kind of give up anything real easily. So I'm not ever worried about that. I know that as long as I can keep moving, like my mind will keep pushing me through. I'm never going to get down on myself. If I'm in a fight, I know I can put anybody away, whether with a big strike, a big takedown, a sub on the ground, or big strikes on the ground. So no matter what's going on in the fight, I feel like I'm always in it, and I'm always dangerous. I can always put someone away.
Yeah, and for sure, I gotta wonder because it seems like you've been in a lot of different promotions throughout the course of your career, like just a pretty well-traveled individual in a lot of ways. But it seems like your fighting style really lends itself to where you're presently at. I mean, you had good runs in, Bellator, UFC, Titan FC, like some really noticeable brand names in the world of mixed martial arts. But you've got a really high finishing rate, so it seems like PFL is a perfect fit for you. With that 87% finishing rate. Is PFL the perfect promotion for you to be with right now?
Yeah, I think so. The finishes mostly just matter in the regular season. Once you're in the playoffs, then points go out the window and just get a win however you want. But I like it. I got that 6 points, so it put me to where I wasn't, on the bottom of the bracket. I wasn't like a 7 or 8 seed. So this way, but also at the same time, like, I don't know, is this a PG interview or no?
Oh, go for it, man. Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, like at the same time, fuck it. Like I'm fighting John Howard. I'm the 5th seed, and I'm fighting John Howard. So it's like there's no one easy in the bracket. If you was the 1 seed, you're still fighting a tough guy. So I don't know. You need points to get in the tournament, but once you're in the tournament, everyone's dangerous. Everyone comes out and can finish you. So it is what it is. You just need the points to get in the tournament. Once you're in the tournament, then just gotta win and stay healthy that first fight. That's the main thing.
Yeah, and it being a 2-round fight that opens the playoffs, is there any kind of change in your, I guess, training methodology? Like, is there a different kind of like cardio or training regimen you would want to get in for something that's a 2-round fight as compared to a bout that's, longer?
I don't think so. We haven't really got into it yet. We're still far out. I'm like 11 weeks out or so. So we haven't got into it too much. I just kind of started getting back into training this week. I took like 2 weeks off after my fight because my back was still pretty messed up, and I was having trouble doing a lot. So I didn't do too much, just rehab on the back. And now this week, like yesterday was the first day I wrestled. Monday I did some striking, and other than that, just been doing some strength and conditioning. So me and my coaches will get into that. I got a super good strength and conditioning coach, Jared Key, and I feel like whatever he says, I'm gonna do, and that's gonna get me ready. I've never really gassed out in a fight. I had a few decisions, like you said. I think I've only had 2 decision wins. I mean, I got 2 decision losses, which are splits, but what the fuck ever, should have been 2 wins. So I feel like I've had a 5-round fight before, and was fighting, swinging, banging all the way up until minute 25. So I feel like I'll be ready no matter what. But the hardest part is just getting that recovery between fights, in my mind, because after a fight you have a huge adrenaline dump, more than any other sport. I've done a lot of sports, and there's nothing like an adrenaline dump after a fight. So it's going to be after the fight with Howard. Assuming I win, obviously I'm assuming that I'm going to win. After that fight, I have to not let myself get too high. I can't get too excited and have a huge adrenaline dump, because the adrenaline is going to be hard to get back in 45 minutes to an hour, however long I have between fights. And I think that's going to be the hardest thing.
Yeah, for sure. Is there any sports psychology you would look into for something like that? Just ways of like regulating your energy levels between fights and kind of like monitoring that so you can be like most energy efficient? Or like, how do you go about like navigating that? Or are you just gonna wait till it gets a bit closer to the fight to maybe figure that out?
Nah, I ain't talking about like that. Just get out. Like I said, I did a lot of different sports. I've done a tournament before. It's just I know that I have a second fight, so beat Howard, whether it goes 10 minutes or 15 seconds, I got to get the win. Number one is get the win, obviously. Got to get the win no matter what. Like, if I have to go balls to the wall for 10 minutes, I got to go balls to the wall for 10 minutes, no matter how tired I'm going to be that second fight. We still have to just worry about getting past John Howard, a super tough, super dangerous opponent that, comes out and takes people's heads off. So number one is get past John Howard. Then number 2, then you start to look at, okay, got to keep my heart rate down, got to, not let myself get too worked up about this win over this good guy, because I got another good guy looking to come take my head off.
Yeah, and it seems like you respect him a lot, and this fight is very interesting too, because like you guys had 0 points in the standing prior to the card, but now getting some good spots in the playoffs and everything like that. But I wanted to address the eye poke situation. It seems like you have a bit of an unfortunate history of kind of getting poked in the eye and everything like that. But it's good you have a sponsor that's an ophthalmologist. I'm kind of wondering, how are your eyes doing? Like a few days out from the fight and everything.
My eyes it's doing good now, and yeah, I fucking get poked all the time. Like, even in training, I probably get poked more than anyone else. And I don't, maybe it's just my style. I'm always attacking. A lot of times it's against the southpaw, trying to beat that lead leg, trying to get outside that lead leg. And as guys are backing up, that hand opens up and they reach out. That's what happened against Henderson. He went southpaw, and I tried to beat that lead leg, and he just reached out and poked it. But yeah, I had like some scratches on the side, not on the cornea, so that was good. But kind of deeper in back, it had some scratches, so I got some drops and stuff, and it's doing all right now.
Well, that's good, man. And you talk about like some of the work you get in training. I'm noticing you're out of the MMA Lab, and it seems like there's a lot of real tough dudes over there, but also there's a real like kinship and camaraderie among the people that train there. Who do you regularly work with at the MMA Lab, and can you speak to the benefits of training there?
Oh man, I love the lab. You know, it's a family. I love going in and knowing that I'm gonna have teammates there. Guys are there for me because I'm there for them. You know, these last two fights, I've done a lot with. Most of my sparring these last two fights have been with Kyle Stewart and Mark Martin. So Mark Martin, he wrestled at Ohio State, but he's kind of he doesn't have too many fights yet. I think he's just had his fourth or fifth pro fight, but he's gonna be up there pretty soon. You know, and Kyle, he just lost a close decision to Eric Koch, but he had a good fight. Yeah, they've been who I've been sparring with most. I normally get a lot of rounds with Jared Cannonier also, but it just kind of ended up that he was coming off his fight, and so he was taking some time off afterwards. And then for my first fight in PFL, I wasn't getting rounds with him because he was training for Anderson at the same time that I was training. So it kind of just if we're both training for an opponent, we can't really give each other looks. And also, Anderson's 6'3" and I'm 5'9", so I couldn't give him a look for that anyway.
Yeah, no, I get where
But James Nakashima and Ben Henderson, they're always in there. And if I need a southpaw wrestler, like James will jump in with anybody, so I get rounds with him if I ever need a wrestler like that. And Ben, Ben's the man. He'll jump in, go southpaw, orthodox, boxer, kickboxer, wrestler, whatever you need. His skill set's just so varied, so whatever kind of round you need, he's always a good one too. But my guys were both over 6 foot, so he's not the tallest guy, so I needed to get a little bit more height.
Yeah, for sure. Got to switch it up depending on who the opponent is and everything like that. But should you get the desired outcome and end up winning the tournament, I'm curious, what would you allocate the $1 million towards? Like, what would you spend the winnings on?
Probably buy a nice pizza and then get back to training.
Just something you pay forward for future fights and everything like that, like getting sparring partners in and stuff like that.
Getting what?
Just getting different sparring partners in and just allocating the money towards furthering your professional MMA career.
Nah, fuck that. I don't believe in needing a bunch of different guys. I got a good team around me. I got a good family at the lab. Everyone there, those are my ride or dies. They're there for me and I'm there for them. So I feel like we got a lot of good guys, especially at 170 right now. We got, like I said, Jared at 185, Ben at 155. So I don't think I need anything else. Well, I mean, I guess if I was to fight Sadabu again, he's 6'3", a tall 6'3", and super long reach. That'd be about the only thing that I would need to try to get a different sparring partner for. But everything else, we got guys that can do everything, that are all kinds of body types, and I don't feel like I need anything else than what I got at the lab.
Yeah, for sure, and I didn't mean to sound like I was disrespecting anyone at the MMA lab. I guess I more so meant, would you allocate the money towards your MMA efforts as opposed to, spending it on something frivolous? That was more so what I meant.
I mean, I don't know. Right now, I feel like I have basically all I need in my career. I got... I don't take a lot of supplements. I don't like to take a lot of things. Take some collagen and powdered greens on fight week, some essential aminos and protein, and that's really about it. I don't take a lot of different things, so I wouldn't want to change it too much because I feel like it's working out for me. And also, guys are popping for contaminated stuff, so I don't want to take a lot of different things that you might pop for. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe buy some better shin pads. That's about it.
Yeah, it's been a long road, man. It's been a long journey since you were 17-year-old with the SpongeBob boxers fighting in that state without the commission or blood testing, eh?
Yeah, that was different. I was 15 actually when I had my first fight.
Yeah, man, it's been good to see the journey throughout the years and everything, man. But you've been great with your time. I'm curious if there's anything you want to add as a parting thought as we're wrapping up here, though.
No, like if anyone, whoever's listening to this, just tune in October 11th. Like we're talking about John Howard. He's a good opponent, but that's only going to be my first opponent. And I got another one right after that. So it's going to be a good night. Everyone that I talk to is excited about it. They're like, oh, man, 2 fights in one night. That's badass. I'm like, man, kind of is badass, yeah, but still, got to win that first one, then get the second one. So just excited about that.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too, and people can be checking that out October 11th. Like you said, John Howard going to be in there, and just really great to get the time from you and all the insights today, David. Thanks for all of that, and hope you have a great rest of your day as well.
Yeah, you too. See you, man.